Good morning. It is, what is today? Thursday. Friday? Friday. Today is Friday. I am so confused as to what the day is. It's been a weird week. Got some fresh new dew. Look at that fresh ass haircut. Woo! Shaved, trimmed a little. Yeah, we looking good. So you might notice that the scenery, I joke and die here, looks a little different than it normally does. The trees, the dryness, the deserty brush. There, we got that deserty ass hill. Yes, it is true. I'm visiting my parents right now. So we came over to Eastern Washington, where I grew up, to do a little get-together for a gender reveal party for the baby, and just kind of visit and catch up with some people. So we will be here today and part of tomorrow, but still on contest prep, so gotta get that morning workout in. So I am currently driving to, let's see here, there's probably 3 gyms in the area that I could go to, but I think just because I've never worked out, even as long as I lived here, I never worked out at any of the Gold's gyms. I'm gonna go to Gold's, see how it goes. Alright guys, let's take a peek at the workout that I did here at this Gold's Gym in Kennewick. The first exercise has actually started off with a superset, but the first exercise of that superset is the narrow low rows with the grip over the top. And I'm really squeezing my elbow down in this one and pushing my shoulder blades down in order to work the lower portion of that lat. This is a great piece of equipment that I wish I had at my gym, but I do have a cable version of it. The next thing that I did here is a hammer strength style press. Again, these weren't actual hammer strength pieces of equipment, but what I really like about these is the ability to push heavy amounts of weight without putting a lot of strain on the joints. I am leaning down here a little bit, and the reason for that is I'm using my palms to kind of scoop, do a scooping motion, which is putting a lot of tension on as much portion of the pectoral muscles as I possibly could here. So a lot of what I did was volume work, lightweight, 12 to 15 reps here. As you can kind of see, I'm definitely feeling the soreness and the burn on this. So I got a really great squeeze and contraction off this exercise. The next thing here, and I apologize you can't really see, is an underhanded row. It's a high row, so I'm actually pulling upwards. I just wanted to include this kind of partial piece of footage so you could see the exercise and I could describe it to you, but it's underhanded and I'm pulling in an upward motion to work the upper portion of the trapezius as well as some of the other muscles up there, and it was a great machine. From there I moved on to a cable crossover. One of the things that I did here, as you'll see, is I leaned down at an angle, so I'm hitting partially the lower portion of my chest and the medial, and the goal here was actually to squeeze as much as possible, but as you can see here in the video, I'm actually lowering the arms 1 notch at a time, and I continued that all the way through all of my sets. And so one of the great things you can do with the cable crossovers is train every single angle possible in a short period of time without having to move on to multiple different pieces of equipment. So it really does save some time, and it's a really convenient way to work all of those different angles. You can kind of see here that I'm swinging a little bit with my body. I was actually starting to really hurt in the shoulder joints from the pressing motions that I did. There's a couple of exercises that I did not get a chance to record because people were in the way. One of the things that I did start off with was an incline bench press, and that was a free weight. So I just put a lot of strain on my joints, and I was really starting to get sore by this portion of the video. And so that's where you can kind of see the struggle that I'm having. This portion right here, I keep my form quite good, a little bit of a swing or a little bit of a push forward, but again, I'm just keeping that tension on the chest and squeezing at the top of the movement as best I can, and moving those arms down one notch to change that angle each and every time. Alright guys, this is the final exercise I'm going to show you, and it is one that I've actually, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I've been doing more and more lately, but they actually had a piece of equipment here. So the best case scenario when you're doing a lat pull down is to get a good stretch as a pronated grip or an overhanded grip with your palms facing away from you. And the best squeeze that I've found, especially for kind of that middle section, is a supinated grip or an underhanded grip. And so what I'm doing through the movement is I'm twisting and pushing my elbows down as hard as I can and really squeezing those lats, and it gives you a really, really great contraction and a really great squeeze. One of the downsides is, again, on this exercise, my shoulders were really starting to hurt, so you don't see me come up quite all the way, but you can use this with pretty much any cable crossover that you have, even at your gym. So it's a great piece of equipment.
Woo! So it's always fun going to a new gym. So thanks Gold's Gym in Kennewick. You let me in for free. So it was nice not to have to pay a fee. Yeah, training while you're traveling is hard for a couple of reasons. Because one, you're traveling and you don't feel like doing anything. So you got to find the motivation to actually get up and get into the gym. But the next part is, obviously you're not going to be at your gym. So figuring out how to do your programming at another gym. So like they had actually they had some equipment that I wish my gym had that I was able to utilize. And it's nice because I've trained at quite a few gyms over the years, and so just having gotten that variety of equipment and knowing what does and doesn't work for me. But not everybody is that interested in fitness, I guess, or has had that opportunity. So yeah, just the difference of equipment. Just trying to figure out, okay, so this is what I'm targeting, this is what I want to hit, you know, how do I do that? So they had pretty decent setup. So this is Crazy Mike's, as you can see the sign there. I don't know if you saw that. That was where I got my tuxedo for prom long ago. What was that? 9 years ago now? 9 years ago? Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy how things have changed. Like, this Hills restaurant has always been here. But this particular side of town, let's just say we're not on the nice side of town. We're definitely not in the nice area. Like, this building straight in front of us right here has been like 17 different things. So, here is Kennewick High School. So this is the high school that I went to, although it didn't look anything like this when I went here, as in like the paint is completely different. It was like a grayish building for the longest time. But they did do a lot of improvements starting, so like that lion statue right there was added my senior year, I believe. That's new, that one back there. But yeah, this is my hometown. That rock, we used to have competitions with the local high school. They had a rock out in front of their school, and we would go tag that, and then they would come and paint ours and all that stuff. So I spent a lot of time in that pool over there in the summers, and I spent, oddly enough, whether you believe it or not, a decent amount of time in this skate park over here. It was just a good hangout. Like I said, this isn't the nicest side of town, but the good side is oh my God, where did oh, that's right, the KPD moved down the street to a bigger building. So the police department moved, I forgot about that. So that's apparently now a YMCA, which I did not know. Local hospital's right over here. So yeah, these are my old stomping grounds. I used to be here quite often. I used to, you know, lived in this side of the town for probably I think we lived here for 5 or 6 years when we first moved here, before we moved away. So I moved to this town from Spokane, which is north of here. Any of you that know the Pacific Northwest. So that's in the northeast corner of Washington State. And I moved here when I was 14, and then I lived here until I was 25. So, yeah, it's kind of funny coming back here after all these years. I mean, I come here, you know, to visit my parents, even though we've moved away, and then even living here. But I never really come down these roads, you know. Okay, so this is my home, old home street. So all my old neighbors' houses. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So that was my friend's house right there. Looks like they still live there, judging by the cars that are out front. But this right here is where I grew up. Right there. I mowed that yard hundreds of times. Hundreds! So yeah, this is where I grew up. That window actually right there that you can see is my bedroom window. The door did not used to be blue, used to be bright fucking red. Yeah, a lot of different things. Like on this corner of the yard over here by this van, used to be like shrubs, and it was like a flower bed that we dug out and planted yard there. And then there used to be shrubs all along this walkway. We didn't take those out, so they must have after we left. And then that little area right in the middle under my old window was where I did a lot of planting of gardening stuff, like rose bushes and stuff. So little gate that goes around back to the backyard. So yeah, that's where I grew up, basically. I mean, we had some other places. This kid right here, that house right there was the home of the kid that stabbed me. He stabbed me with a little penknife over a little argument we were having. So there's that. So a couple memories down here. Let's see here. What else? This road, oddly enough, has quite a few memories. So like this house right here is my ex-girlfriend's grandparents' house. So I spent some time there, oddly enough. Yeah, so it's funny how like when you're in a smaller area of town, how everyone knows each other and they're connected. I went to high school with the girl that lived there. She always drove that car and I was always really jealous. I don't know where she is now, and I don't remember her name. So there's that. And we'd ride through this area. This house right here was home to one of my parents' co-workers, so I spent some time there. He was super into gaming, like way into gaming. So he had all the consoles. He let me borrow. In fact, he's how I played Halo 2, because he had an Xbox and he let me borrow it when Halo 2 came out before he got to play it, which was dope. Anyway, so I also did a paper route on this road as well. So lots of memories here. And then I could actually point out probably a few houses that I've done installations in back when I worked for Best Buy as well on this little road. So a lot of memories here. We're gonna head up back to my parents' house now. I'll see if I can show some stuff on the way there. My parents ran a company that took care of developmentally disabled adults and children. My mom was the head manager and my dad worked just under her. And so inside the community itself, we just knew a lot of people because of, you know, all of their clients, all of their employees. So it was pretty cool. You know, I do complain sometimes a little bit about my childhood, but realistically looking back on it, like it was good to be able to experience some of the things that I did. It was definitely, I think I got my care and my passion for helping people from my parents, because that's what they spent their lives doing, was helping people. His hair is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, wait for it. This house right here, that is Alex Pruitt's house. He was my best friend in high school. I don't know if they still live there. Judging by the cars, I would guess so. That Mustang looks familiar to me, but I don't know. Alex was my buddy, probably my best friend through high school. I don't know what happened After high school, he joined the Navy and became a nuclear engineer, and I had been planning on doing so myself. I had actually had a set date. I'd passed all the required testing, and I chose not to go in for some personal reasons. Part of it was just my own stupidity. I'd just been waiting for over a year to leave, and I guess I just got bored, and I found some other things that interested me. I didn't have the patience. But looking back in hindsight, it was a damn good thing I didn't go, because I don't know if I'd have survived boot camp, or just in general having the diagnosis of EDS like I do have. I don't know how well I would have done. I probably would have had a lot of issues, to be honest. So I think everything happens for a reason. And I think the reasoning behind that was just, I don't regret not going in. So up on this hill, this ridge back here, I always make this mistake. Is it this one? Is it this one? No, it's not this one, it's the next one. So anyway, we used to take the vehicles off-roading up there, but we found there's a rock up in a cage up by those radio towers. And it says something crazy. I'm gonna have to show you in the picture here. But it's like we laughed, we lived, we cried or something on this rock that's inside of a wire fence, and that's all that's up there. Like, it's not like there's something else inside this fencing post. It's just a rock. So it was kind of funny. We found that. God, that had to have been probably 8-9 years ago now. We are home. This is the parents' house. This is where I spent another few years after I moved here. Actually, that's my sister's truck. Was my truck for a while. It started off as my grandpa's truck. And after he passed away, we got a hold of it, and then, between sometimes vehicles not working and whatnot, it's gone to both my parents, myself, and my sister. Most recently, my sister, who has bought it. So it's a great truck. A lot of memories there. But we're home. I've got to get the rest of this in me, and then I've got to shower and get ready to go. So we'll see you guys fishing.